Hello, this is J.N.S, and I just want to do a quick video. Um, Obviously, the title says, "Don't let people project their cowardice onto you regarding your soul's mission, your awakening, and your gifts." And so, we're going to talk about the process of how souls enter the earth dimension. And I also want to do a video on this topic because it's important for humanity and even individually, given the current day that we are in, when it comes to the expression of the self and when it comes to the expression of truth and following our individual soul mission. And to be quite frank, like if you are someone that is a truth teller of any sorts on any subject, then you're going to face one, you're going to face hatred. For those who are not as bold, you're going to face envy, and then you're going to face agents coming your way. And so you have to navigate that while staying true to yourself and obviously protecting your energy. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And the best way to protect your energy is the first way is discernment. The second is traveling the road less follow. And then the third one is staying in your own toroidal field of resonance. So maintaining a certain electromagnetic charge based on your particular resonance, or in better terms to say this, is maintaining your frequency. And so first, let's talk about discernment. When we talk about discernment, we are not merely talking about like paranoia and suspicion, because sometimes it can, there's a balance, because sometimes it can cross over into that. Especially if you're detail oriented, like me, you pay attention to every little detail. And so when we're talking about, obviously being aware of your surroundings and pay attention to people's actions, specifically, they may say one thing, but the actions are what's going to speak louder than their words. So you do want to watch out for people who project their cowardice on to you. These are people who try to stop you from expressing your truth. They try to intimidate you, or like put fear in you on a subliminal level. They don't want you exploring the unknown, exploring higher knowledge, exploring your inner self. They try to distract you. And at worst, these people are literally archon agents sent to disrupt your path every chance they get. And so you will know when you tell them something good in your life. Watch their response. If they're not happy for you, you may be dealing with one of these people. Or when you tell them something personal, they use it against you, or they try to mute you, sometimes these people try to get you to second guess yourself. They'll gaslight you, or at worst, they'll try to allude to something being pathological with you, literally try to pathologize you. And so these are mechanisms for people that want to control you. And so obviously, with that discernment, once you realize those things, you get away from them. Then there's people who try to, another way people try to project their cowardice onto you is to prevent you from walking in your truth. They may be under a specific set of parameters, or a specific set of rules or pacts, or even deals where they can't speak the truth, even if they know the truth, even if they know what you're saying is true. And so they may try, or be literally sent to you to prevent you from waking up and reaching your higher self. And so you also want to pay attention to your circle. Not everybody is your friend. Be so secure with yourself where your love is broadening. So you have this love for yourself, and you maintain this love frequency, but you, how do you say this? You don't feel this need to be liked by everyone. You don't feel this need to be loved by everyone. Your love is so broad. Your love is so expanded beyond the mental conception, the mental constructions rather of the world, where you are beyond what society deems valid. And so you would be discerning these. You need to be discerning of people's actions, and you also need to become aware of people's frequency and the vibration that they emit. What are their interests? What are their goals? Are they into the same thing as you? So those are very simple ways to, elevate your discernment skills. And this is something I had to work on. So I'm speaking from experience. Like, I'm speaking on the things that I went through for the last 2 years. It was 2 years, but it felt more like 20, as far as like, uh, how much I aged. And so I'm speaking from experience. Another thing you want to pay attention to is if they subconsciously try to sabotage you. They subconsciously try to sabotage everything you do, but somehow they turn it around to make themselves the victim, or they make it seem like it was an accident. Don't take that lightly. Don't let they like, I had a situation where I had a kid in my family. They had a friend. Every time this friend, this is just kid stuff, right? Every time their friend would come around, my family members' toys would just break. The laptop, they little toy, little kid laptops would break. The bikes would break. Every little time this kid come around, it was always an accident. And I would try to tell my family member, kid is jealous of you. That's not your fucking friend. Get away from him. So I tried to really step in. This wasn't my kid, obviously, but I was like talking to his parent, like, you gotta keep that kid away from your son, dude. Like, this kid is jealous. And one day it got so bad, no lie, that same kid took a hammer in his hand and chased my family member around, all around the house, talking about, I'm gonna hit you in your head with a big ass hammer. And uh I guess the parent felt, they felt like they could feel, how the parent instinct, they caught it in time. And she said, she told me, she threatened the kid. She said, if you hit my son with that hammer, I'm gonna beat your ass. And the boy dropped the hammer, and that was the last time they ever hung out. So I'm telling you, that's just on a kid level. But you guys, I know in your adulthood, you have plenty of examples of that. Even in the workplace, like, every time so you constantly getting sabotaged by this person, and they claiming it's an accident, or they claiming they didn't know, or they claiming, no, get away from them type of people. Get away from them type of people. And the reason why I'm doing a video on this, because, honestly, millions of people are going to awaken. And then suddenly you're going to notice people switching up on you. You're going to notice so-called friends who are not on your frequency. They're going to act funny. Then you're going to notice, you're just going to notice a little bit of jealousy. And I don't want those people to, like, okay, everybody's jealous. But some of you, seriously, just based off your energy marker and some of your gifts, you can be more prone to envy than, say, another person. There's a series of factors that would affect that, but it's a real reality. It's a reality for people. And so, again, at worst, these people would be like an archon agent who made a pact in order to prevent you from being who you were sent to be. And so you will see these people show their teeth in horrific ways, and this could be people that is very close to you. This could be your parents. This could be your sisters, your cousins, your friends. And most of the time it is the motherfucker that's close to you. So the moment you start to ascend, you will see these people resort to extreme tactics to sabotage you. This could be getting you fired from a job. This could be preventing you from moving forward. Like, I've met people that told me that they had family members get them arrested, put them in weird, horrific situations. And so you want to be very careful who you express yourself to, as far as your gifts, your good news, the things that are happening in your life. You want to be very careful. And again, watch people's actions, watch people's actions at all times. I'm not saying be paranoid and stuff, because, I can be guilty of really overdoing it, being suspicious. But at the same time, in the day and age we in, where you got like these agents really trying to prevent people from tapping into their higher self, from tapping into their truth, and from being like the amazing people that they are, it's ramping up. It's really ramping up. And it's going to be like that, honestly, for 7 years, until 2030. Then they're going to try like these horrific, there's a certain type of moon energy that's going to happen. I want to say in 14 years from now. So I think that's 2037. whatever is 14 years from 2013, from 2023. I don't feel like doing the math right now. I believe like in 2037 is going to be like a certain moon phase where the energy is gonna be like another portal where a certain set of malevolent spirits are gonna try to get through in this dimension, Earth dimension. And so from 2023 to the 2030, you're gonna see a ramp up and the corruption of society, an attempt to corrupt society because of the shift in the elevation of the planet itself being so prevalent. And so you'll see that. And so the reason why you know these archons or like these agents come into an existence is that there's a number of scenarios that happen when you come into this dimension. And so there's a formula and there's an energy that surrounds you before you even come into this earth. And so we'll talk about the first like there's probably more, but from what I've been studying and from what I know from experience, I'll just say that there's four. You may have been willed into existence. Let me just get my notes out because I want to make sure that I get this out to you. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I just want to make sure I got my notes in front of me. Okay, so you may have been willed into this dimension by your parents. So you may have been sent on orders from another dimension. You may have been conjured here for a specific reason, or you may have been contracted to come here, or you just somebody that just want to have fun and pass through this dimension. At worst, you could be a lost soul that keeps time looping here. And so I want to just talk about like the first four. We're not really going to talk about those who just want to have fun and they pass through this dimension. And we're not going to really talk about the lost souls that keep time looping here. I honestly don't think the reason why we're not covering it is because the people that would even listen to such a video like this, they wouldn't be them type. And so I'm not going to waste my time focusing on that. So let's talk about the first four. Those who have been willed here may have been done so through an order. So you will have a number of guides and agents who are aware of you when you come. And so that also means they when you're willed, they're putting out a specific formula, a specific will of certain energies that they want to bring into this particular dimension. And that could be like with specific gifts. That could be to have a certain amount of power, to have a certain amount of anointing. That could also even, on a scientific level, that would be like making sure that they come in with a certain amount of photons, a certain ability to work with electromagnetism. And this would obviously help to protect you energy wise, and it will help you fulfill your mission. That's like for those that need to because photons are a light. That's a quantum unit of light, mind you. And so if you are willed into this dimension through your, this could be through an order, through your parents, whatever. If your electromagnetic field is too bright and people would see that, then you would obviously have to deal with parasites eating off of your energy. You would be prone to a lot of jealousy and envy, and people close to you may even be contracted to help prevent you from reaching your destiny. Now, the one that willed you in, they may be one of the ones that are a guide for you. It depends. You can be willed in for nefarious reasons as well. You can be conjured for nefarious reasons. But when we talk about on a soul level, if you are willed in and you're one of those people that you realize you're dealing with a lot of agents or a lot of just of envy, you are probably willed in for a specific reason with a specific amount of gifts. So if you notice that you have a lot of gifts, if you notice you have a lot of talent, you are who I'm talking about. Okay, you may have been willed in. Another way is if you were contracted here. Some souls are contracted to come to this dimension. And so you would have a specific requirements, or you agree to certain things. Now, this can be done illegally. To be honest, I'm going to be very frank. A lot of humans that are on this dimension have been contracted illegally. in the universe's eyes. And so those contracts are not valid. And that person, if they become aware of it, then they can do whatever the hell they want if they awake to this fact that they have an illegal contract placed on them. Now, this I'll give you an example of what this look like. This can be people who are MK Ultra. This could be people who are Manchurian candidates, who are under beta spell, like that, like the situation where Britney Spears. Those are the type of situations that are illegal contracts that, say, a parent or somebody else will get their kid in. Okay, and so once that person becomes aware that they are under an illegal contract that they didn't agree to, and in universal laws and in the highest dimensions of the universe, you can change, you can alter that stuff. Like on planet Earth, they like make it where it's like binding in perpetuity throughout all universes and all this stuff. You can't do that to a person if before they're a soul that gets to this planet. But it's being done on planet Earth. It's actually one of the most heinous crimes against humanity, believe it or not. And so those who do wake up, and there are people who have woken up, to this fact that they were illegally contracted. That's when you see the agents of the Dharma urge, or this material realm. They would come after you. You will see people you will also notice that family members and friends will switch up on you, because these are people who are contracted. And so they literally plot on you to lock you up, at worst, kill you. And so, you can activate and awaken at this level as well, very naturally. And once you do, you would become aware of the soul trap, but then you'll also awaken to who you are before all the nonsense. And usually these people have done sort of crossings to block a person's gifts from coming through and manifesting. And so you also, if you become aware that you're under an illegal soul contract, then you would obviously have to do the work to get out, to do a lot of cleansing on the generational bloodlines, as well as anything that your parents have gotten into, not just the ancestral stuff, but the person who did the illegal contract. And so that's one scenario. That's the second scenario. So let's talk about. So we talked about the first one, and I don't know if you guys caught that one. The first one is if you were willed here. The second one is if you were contracted here. And then we'll talk about the third one, is if you were sent here on a specific mission. There are a lot of humans that have been sent here on a specific mission. Some of them have forgotten. Some of them have forgotten. And I was one of those people that almost forgot and got swooped up in the Matrix. And so you may have been, you may be on a specific mission, and whoever sent you may have put a certain number of photons. And again, photons is a quantum unit of light energy. Also, certain gifts that you have, where you can literally defy the laws of physics and electromagnetism, and just gifts in general. So that means that could be athletic gifts, that can be musical gifts, spiritual gifts, intellectual gifts. It could be any gifts, right? Because every human has their gifts. You come with a package of things that really help you get to your passions and actually help you fulfill your mission. And so at this level as well, just as if you were willed, if that energy is too bright and people see it, you're going to have people try to parasite off of your energy, even attempt to sacrifice that you run those risks. We see this time and time again in the music industry with people with certain light, and then next thing you know, they have these accidents of death and all this. So you have to be careful if you have certain gifts to not let people parasite off your energy. Unfortunately, if you were sent on a specific mission, you're also prone to a lot of jealousy and envy, and that can be from once again the people close to you. You have to be careful and monitor even family members, because they can be contracted to help prevent you from reaching your destiny. Now, if it was the one that that willed you in, because we're going to talk about how you can be a combination of these things as well. They may be an actual spirit guide in human flesh. And so the people that are sent here on specific missions, those are people who are most likely ascended masters. They can be literal gods, or they can be angels, and they'll come here in the flesh, or avatars, and they'll come here in human flesh. Now, if they are so disruptive to the electromagnetic field of the earth in terms of being very successful in their mission, then you will see governments take out contracts to kill that person. But at this level, most of the time it doesn't work. Like, you, I don't know if you guys remember Fidel Castro, but I was reading that he had over 400 assassination attempts. They tried to kill this man 400 times and kept failing. Also, beautiful sister, Haitian sister. Her name is Zili Dantor. She's a Haitian revolutionary that speaks on like the corruption in Haiti and the things that have been systematically done in terms of the colonization and the remnants of how slavery affects Haiti. Her name is Zili Dantor. Now, this not the goddess, like this is an actual human. She talks about how like they would be so close to assassinating her, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, like weird like whole governments will step in to prevent that from happening, because she was obviously sent here, you know, on a mission, obviously avatar of the Izili Dantor energy. And so when I was like, how could, like with Fidel Castro, I'm like, how do you avoid 400 assassination attempts? It's because those are people who are sent on a specific mission. And so you will know that. Now let's talk about the fourth scenario, and that is if you were conjured. So if you were conjured, again, you could be conjured for nefarious reasons or for very positive reasons. Now this can be done through your parents or grandparents, and as far as them doing a conjuring, even you can do, people do this in whole orders, like whole covens conjure up certain energies to when somebody wants to get pregnant and shit. So it gets deep. Now, if you were conjured for nefarious reasons, you would be like a homunculus, you know, like you would be, um, an agent of destruction. Sometimes people conjure them type of energies into existence, believe it or not. Or if it's for the positive reasons, it could be with a specific gift to help a bloodline. Like some bloodlines would do this, you know. And honestly, a lot of musicians and a lot of athletes are conjure, and even some people, they conjure unknowingly. Like, say, you know, you have a married couple, and the parent is a football fan, just love football, and he's just thinking that he's going to get his wife pregnant, you know, and he wants his football, the son, to play for, I don't know, let's was it the Atlanta Braves? I hope I got the team. No, Falcons. I don't watch football, but let's say it's like the Falcons or something, and he's gonna be the all-star and all this stuff, and he just conjuring it, like he just thinking of this so hard, because really the mental plane is really all you need to work with. But imagine, you know, the wife is in on it too, get her pregnant, and they keep subliminally putting these ideas in the kid's head about football and athleticism, and putting a kid in football, you know, at age 6 and shit. Next thing you know, and putting them in high school football, college football, just pushing them. And then, you know, how the universe works toward, you know, so, and this happens. Parents do this all the time to their children. And so conjuring up is very real. And a lot of musicians, fall into that category as well. Obviously, the best example would be Joe Jackson with the Jackson 5. Now with Michael Jackson, to be honest, and I'm just right now we're gonna get a little intuitive, but his family, and it's more of the female, so I want to say it's Catherine. They did some work with Archangel Michael, like something with this Archangel Michael. And if you notice, like there's a lot of people that like was Michael Jackson reincarnation of Archangel Michael. He's an octave of it, because a lot of times, like if you like say if you're praying to an angel to protect over your baby and all this stuff, those energies can literally send octave resonance to the child, and that child will carry that energy. That's also like if say you pray to Yeshua and you're pregnant, and you're just constantly, you know, offering, you know, just constantly summoning that energy, and then the child comes out, you know, there'll be an octave. You can literally create octaves of entities through human flesh. And so this is being done. Again, this is very esoteric to an extent, but it shouldn't be so far-fetched. I think you guys can understand to a degree what I'm talking about. And so all four scenarios can engender people to project their cowardice onto you. Because again, these four scenarios, and we didn't cover the last two because the last two wouldn't be interested in even watching the damn video like this. So I'm not covering the lost souls, that time loop here, and I'm not covering the people that just want to have fun. To be honest, that's not a bad situation to come to planet Earth, as far as the one where you just want to have fun and you transitory and you realize that you come from another dimension and you just want to experience free will. That's not a bad situation. Totally. It's just that those energies don't necessarily resonate with me. We have no judgment whatsoever. So, but I won't be covering that. And so the four scenarios that I just mentioned are the ones where those are the people with the most light. Those are the people with a lot of gifts. And so that is where you would deal with the contracted agents, the archons, the people projecting their cowardice onto you. And so these situations can enable someone to try to prevent you from being who you were born to be. And that's why we're covering those four scenarios in particular. Also, you can be a combination of these things. Some of you may find that you are a combination of the being willed into existence, being contracted into existence, being conjured into existence, and even being sent down here, or one or two. You don't have to be all four, right? So I'll just give you an example of what that will look like. Just an example. Let's say someone willed you in because a parent in particular wanted a prophet, or like this powerful soul that with certain gifts, and they wanted the child, for instance, to be a mystic or close to God. But the other parent that saw that light, they went and put a contract or a pact to put that person in a monarch or government program in exchange for a reward once that person was successfully, let's say, sacrificed, for instance. This is just an example. Now, let's say also, now we got two scenarios that we already covered. Now, let's say that that person was actually secretly on a mission sent by the creator God themselves. So this person was willed in by one parent, contracted by the other parent, but unbeknownst to both parents, that person was sent by the creator God themselves to monitor planet Earth and to help raise the collective consciousness of humanity. This was a secret intelligence mission for that the parents themselves were not in on. And they were to help Earth's inevitable ascension. But this was so secret that the person that willed them in had no clue either. And now let's say that the person that contracted, the other parent that contracted them, was in an order, and that order helped conjure them. But again, they didn't know about this mission that God had them on. And then the parent that put the contract on them didn't know. And so let's say that that person that the creator God had sent on the mission was actually an angel. And they were told as part of their incentive package that if they went to Earth, they would be promoted to godhood with certain gifts and powers if they took that mission to come to planet Earth. Believe it or not, this happens with a lot of humans. A lot of humans don't realize that they are that they were willed, that they were contracted, illegally contracted, but God also had them on a mission. And so a lot of humans fit into this category. And also, let's continue with this scenario, this example that I'm giving. Just imagine that they were briefed that they would be born into spiritual warfare because their parents was obviously one of the parents willed them. One of the parents is in an order that put contracts, do illegal pacts and contracts on souls. And also they're from a specific bloodline that has historically dealt with orders and pacts and conjures and contracts. And a part of the intelligence work of why that person was to be sent down to Earth was to study those methods and systems. Now, this is just an example, but this again is the case with many of you, unbeknownst to you. And this is really for people who would see themselves as star seeds, children who may be indigo, those who say who realize that they are a part of the ancient ones, those who say they are those who know that they are chosen ones. Now, again, people say, yeah, the chosen ones choose themselves. And yeah, that's true. That could be true. That's true, but also there is higher order here. There is people that's literally sent here from specific bloodlines. Also, anybody that's a descendant of the dragon riders, that tends to be royal melanated bloodlines. Those are the ones that most likely are a combination of those scenarios of how your soul gets willed into planet Earth. You can be a combination of those scenarios. And as you awaken, you will notice, again, that's when people start to project their cowardice onto you. That's when the material realm and the system turn on you, because you're starting to realize, okay, you're actually a old soul, an ancient one, a chosen one, or a star seed, or an indigo child, or a descendant of certain royal melanated bloodlines, whatever that is, or even the son of man. And all of these combinations, the son of man is a code for Christ consciousness, by the way. But that's the son of man. That's a light code, that not every human can relate to, but for some of you guys, you will be able to relate to when someone says, "Oh, I am the son of man." And as we know, it says that the son of man will suffer greatly and be rejected by this generation. And so for those of you that fit in that category, you intuitively know, if what I'm saying resonates with you, then great. And if not, then, then it just has no bearing. You're most likely not who I'm talking about. But also in dealing with, people's projections of their cowardice, of their insecurities onto you, you have to know that even though we're in like this dermerge material realm, the first will be last and the last will be first. So God in the universe always been towards justice, and God always gets the last laugh. So the last thing I want you guys to take from this is just to be discerning at all times. And to also, as you're doing like your natal chart work, you're studying your natal chart, you're studying the time obviously the month you were born, the time you were born. Also try to, in addition to the natal chart, look at that life path number. Start to look at the numbers that surround your name, and the numbers that surround your birth date. And that's going to tell you, were you conjured here? Were you willed here? Were you contracted here? Were you sent here on a mission? Are you a lost soul that's time looping? Look at the families. A lot of, start to study these ancestors. And also the last one is if you just came here to have fun. And so your natal chart, your numerology regarding your life path, as well as even the numbers in your name, that's going to help you understand a bit better of your mission, as well as the scenario under which you came here. And so that's the last one that I wanted to talk to you about. Let me make sure that, okay, I'm looking at my notes here, and I just want to make sure I covered all my notes. But again, discernment is key to preventing that and to stop people from projecting their cowardice onto you. So the first time someone tries to block you, bad mind you, or show just an ounce of signs of jealousy or try to sabotage you, one time, drop them. If they try to prevent you from speaking your truth and expressing your gifts, drop them. And again, I'm speaking from experience. And so, and I know I'm not the only person that deals with this type of thing. That's why I'm doing a whole video on it. And so the next way to navigate this is to lose the crowd and travel the road less followed. And so here I would say to always bet on yourself and have faith in yourself. In addition to having faith in yourself, stand up for yourself and do not follow this matrix or nothing in this system, because it is an illusion. Now I'll give you an example. You just imagine a Christmas tree, and then you got all these presents under the Christmas tree. You got all this material stuff under the Christmas tree. Let's say you got a bunch of, I don't know, the iPad, what is it? iPad and AirPod material stuff at the Christmas tree. Then as you go up the tree, you see the lights. You see these lights all on the tree. And these are the nadis, by the way. Nadis. These are the nadis. Then at the top of the Christmas tree, you obviously see that bright star. Okay. And so what happens is they try to get people focused on, and when I say they, we're talking about the system. The way society is ran is where there's this emphasis on the presence at the bottom, the material stuff at the bottom. Get your mind focused on it. Everybody focused on that. And they are willing to give you those presents in exchange for you selling that star at the top of the tree. And as long as there's people willing to sell their star, you're going to get those material presents. Now, remember, Kanye West said, I sold my soul to the devil for a happy meal, but at least, or something. He said, at least it came with a few toys and a happy meal or something like that. This is what Kanye West said. You know, obviously there's a metaphor, but he's talking about these horrific contracts and whatnot, where you lose a sense of creative control, and even like what Prince dealt with, even the right to his own name and whatnot. And so it goes deep. And so again, if there's always people that's willing to settle for the presents at the bottom of the Christmas tree in exchange for their star at the top of the tree. And so you want to follow the road less traveled, and that's what I say. If you see everybody going one way, go shoot, actually forge your own way, make your own way, reach for that star, travel up that tree through the knotties, and reach and be that star. Okay, and also realize that you are a star already when you were born, and so you don't necessarily have to engage in certain behaviors or in certain practices that will get that you feel is going to get you acceptance, or that you feel is going to get you validation. Don't follow the crowds. Follow your own true calling, follow your own true path, focus on your own divinity. Don't focus on what everybody else is doing, what everybody else is saying. Don't focus on celebrity gossip. And I'm definitely been guilty of that. But I just noticed that it's such a waste of energy, such a waste of energy. And so focus on your own divinity and not anybody else. Focus on the business that pays you. And also, when we talk about that tree example, when we talk about the star, we're talking about that essence. You know, the scientist Carl Sagan talks about, you know, we're all made up of stardust, and he goes into like this deep analogy of like the chemical compositions of a star. It can be found in a human body. Obviously, that's true. So I know that's more of the scientific aspect of it, but yes, your essence is like a star, you know, so never sell your essence for a cheap price. Your essence is priceless. Maintain your integrity and dignity at all times. And if that means you have to be alone for a while, then so be it, because eventually you will find your tribe. Eventually things you lose come around in another form. And so that's always important to know. But again, another key to preventing people from projecting their cowardice onto you is to lose the crowd. As simple as that. And then lastly, we're going to talk about protecting your energy. Now, this is your toroidal field, or the vortex that's around you. That's filled with it's a field of electromagnetism that reaches about it can reach about way farther than 8 feet. They always talk about like the nervous system of the heart gives out like this electromagnetic field that goes about 6 to 8 feet. Certain people, those that I've mentioned, as far as the ones that was sent here, the chosen ones, the ancient ones, any of you that's in that category, your electromagnetic field is way farther than some damn 8 feet. You can actually control your electromagnetic field at will. And so many of you can do that. And so you have to protect that energy. That means obviously being careful of your aura. And that can be making sure to cleanse and keep your energy right. This can be done, obviously, the biggest way is crystals. That's the biggest one. Now, I hear people tell me that that they have to build up the energy to work with certain crystals, because certain crystals could provide like static, like it can backfire. And I honestly never had an experience with that, but I guess that is possible. Like, for instance, tourmaline, like the black crystals like obsidian and tourmaline, you have to cleanse constantly because they carry a lot of energy and they absorb the energy quicker, particularly negative energy. And if you don't cleanse it, then that's when you can start to feel weighed down. I have heard of that before. And so crystals can help you protect your electromagnetic field. for those of us that have specific amounts of gifts and a specific amount of photons and huge electromagnetic auras. And so one way, obviously, if you get like the crystal bracelets and you jump in the shower with them, they're constantly being cleansed. And so that's one way. Baths, spiritual baths with your herbs and your oils is another way. Another one is soothing music, high vibrational music at that. The next one is aromatherapy of any kind, regarding like the essential oils. That's a good one. Or they have like the resins, like the incense, like with obviously the frankincense and myrrh or palo santo, that type of thing also will protect your electromagnetic field. The next one is meditation. This could be mindful meditation, and you got transcendental meditation. You don't have to do all these things. You could just choose a couple. Choose the ones that resonate with you the most. Um, comfort treats, in moderation. Obviously, comfort treats can lift the spirits. When you're just in that relaxation mode. Then you have red light therapy, infrared therapy. Those things can work. They have like these portable infrared, they're like portable infrared tents that you can get like on Amazon. I had really good experiences with those like back in the day. I want to say in 2017, 2018. Those are awesome. Also being mindful of the vibration of your vibration. So that self-awareness and mindfulness of your subtle changes in your energy is also going to allow you to in real time calibrate when you need to calibrate. But the biggest one is obviously say no to fear, have no fear whatsoever. Make a conscious decision to program your mind and say, to reprogram your whole electromagnetic field as well as your DNA, and say, I cannot feel any fear. Like in my programming, in my soul, in my DNA, I am reprogramming my body to where I just have no fear. You can do that and it does work. It obviously takes time. I'm not saying it's going to work the first time, but if you do it like consistently, it will work. If you say anything, like if you say I can't get sick, like there are people that say like I can't get sick. My immune system is so strong, and they never get sick. Like that shit works. So you can say that, or you can say whatever mantra or whatever affirmation you need to say. Speak it out loud. Speaking it out loud a heka. It's a heka based form of mental science, or what people will call magic. You can also do this with like if it's money, whatever it is. Another thing is to constantly seek wisdom if you want to find a good spiritual system. We're actually going to talk about that tomorrow, about more about that, because I want to talk about like the differences between mysticism and religion. So we're not going to get into any specific spiritual systems, because I'm not promoting that any one over the other. It's just just you find a good spiritual system, and you have to seek wisdom that find your truth. It's not like there's this ultimate truth. And I remember I was listening to this one guy. He said, I want to build with the people that are in search of the truth and in search of, higher awareness. And I want to run away from the people that said they found the truth. And I thought that was like so, it was so profound. I was like, you know what? That's a good one, because that's what I'd be thinking of too. I'm like, if anybody tell me, oh, this is the truth and this is the only way, like I would be like looking at them like, oh hell no, I gotta get away from that motherfucker. But that's real stuff. And so now we're going to talk about, because we're almost done with what I wanted to say, is how to replenish your electromagnetism. You can replenish your electromagnetism and the amount of photons you generate, as well as your infrared rays at will. You can do this obviously with herbs. Obviously, we talked about and briefly the infrared therapy, red light therapy, but you could just also do this with your mind. You don't need those things to help you, but you can actually just do it with your mind. But you can also use herbs in nature, in the sun, any type of sound therapy. Obviously, sound therapy such as tuning forks, solfeggio frequencies are going to help you have a stronger aura. And also remember to have the confidence. And the last one that I want to talk about is do not covet what other people have, or just have like this jealous spirit. And that will also protect your aura, because whatever you put out is what you're going to get back. So if you're putting out a bunch of fuckery, a bunch of jealousy and all that stuff is going to come back and towards you, especially if you're doing it to a person that is innocent. And so, you know, that all those things are going to help you replenish your electromagnetism magnetism field, your photons, as well as your infrared rays, as well as protect your aura. And lastly would be the focusing on that love. And you're focusing on yourself so much that you find the idea of like tearing other people down foreign. It can become a strange concept to you, or even being jealous. If you're one of those people that really love yourself and really focusing on yourself, like that stuff becomes so foreign to you. It becomes. I won't say that you're gonna have your moments, but it just becomes strange. And that's where a lot of people that are in our category, anyways, those who have been sent here, those who have been conjured, those who have been willed, even those who have been contracted, but those who are specifically star seeds, indigo children, chosen ones, ancient ones, as well as descendants of dragon riders, we are already, you know, at a certain vibration where we do find these ideas of like, oh, we covenant with somebody else, we're tearing down with other people. That sounds foreign to us. That sounds odd. It's an odd concept. And so that maintains, believe it or not, our aura and our frequency. And so, yeah, I covered all my notes. That's all I pretty much wanted to say. Oh, I see a comment. I was looking at my notes, so I'm just now looking at the comment section. It says, what did I miss? When did yeah, Waters of Humanity, I see your comment. We were just talking about like the scenarios under which souls become willed into the earth dimension. So we covered 4 scenarios in which that happens, and then we talked about like how those particular souls that come based on those scenarios, they tend to have more gifts, they tend to have more talents, and so they unfortunately are under a magnet, what's it called, a magnetic field, not a magnifying glass. That's what I want to say. They're under a magnifying glass in terms of dealing with people's projecting their cowardice onto them, their jealousy, their insecurity. But I was mainly talking about how people would project their cowardice in a sense of trying to prevent certain souls and certain people with certain lights from doing their mission. Like they'll try to distract you. They'll try to get you to stop speaking your truth, to stop telling the truth. They'll try to put fear in you. So we just talked about like how certain energies and souls on this planet have to deal with archon agents, and those agents could be people that are even very close to them. They could be family members, it could be their own parents. And so we were just talking about those type of scenarios, and then I covered on how like discernment can help navigate that, and we talked about what that discernment looks like, and then we talked about the road less traveled, following the road less traveled, not following crowds, learning to be alone. And then lastly, we talked about protecting your electromagnetic field, your aura. And so that's what we covered. And so yes, you said, what if you're an oversoul? Absolutely. That's what we talk. Those are people that were sent usually on a mission. And so, you know, you can totally be an oversoul. You could totally have it. Most people do have an oversoul. If that's their higher, that's like kind of connected to your higher self, but it's a little bit bigger than, to me, it depends on the person, but from my experience, to me, the higher self, the oversoul is like a step above the higher self, because there's octaves of a person's essence. So like, you know, even in the Eastern thought, they talk about like how there's like these 5 layers or sheaths to the essence of a human being, from like this material realm to like the emotional body, the mental body, the spiritual body. And even a Gnosticism, they have 7 fields. They don't necessarily put like, okay, this vibration is higher than this vibration in terms of the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual body. They don't necessarily put like high or low, but the Gnostics talk about I know at least 7 layers. So when I'm talking about like the higher self, the oversoul, the emotional body, I see them kind of differently. But that's just me, and I'm still learning, so that may change. But there's people that got a humongous oversouls on their ass, man. You could be an octave of a deity, literally an octave. And I want to get into that. Like, how does someone become an octave of Yeshua or of Archangel Michael or of Kalima or of Izili Dantor? That's a process that happens. And that's when we talked about like how parents will a soul to this earth, or how covens or orders will a soul to planet Earth. They can be creating a specific energy to be an octave, like how people always like, oh, Michael Jackson is the octave of Archangel Michael. Well, his mom was most likely praying to Archangel Michael and asking for that protection and asking for that energy to be on him, and then it'll stay with you for the rest of your life. And so oversouls is to me is an element of your essence, and so it would be a layer of who you are, certainly. And some people, they don't ever become aware of their oversoul, unfortunately. And then also, uh, and I don't know how you would look at this, Waters of Humanity, but um, the oversoul aspect to me seems like an archetype of a dimension where one would access their power, their hidden gifts, their hidden talents, as well. And so it's an interesting concept. I actually learned about oversouls on a anime cartoon. Them Japanese anime cartoons, they always put a lot of esoteric occult teachings um in their cartoons, man. You can learn a lot of shit, believe it or not, from them little anime them little anime cartoons. I remember I learned not only from the anime about they put so much stuff about the oversoul in there, obviously the chakras, and they put a bunch of stuff about the archangels in there. And I'm like, how is this a cartoon? And it was literally a kid in my family, a family member of mine that's a kid was just watching it. And I was just like, yo, that's a deep ass show. And then we started watching it together. And that's when I learned about oversoul. And I said, what's this idea of the oversoul? And then I said, oh man, matter of fact, I wish I could, I want to at least, what was that? Oh, it's kind of like slipping my mind the title of that show, but it's so spiritual and it has so much metaphysics in it. Let's see, maybe it'll pop up. Okay, here we go. I think I found it, guys. Shaman King. There we go. Shaman King. That show, you want to get a crash course in the occult, crash course in some esoteric knowledge to catch you up real quick. Oh man, that show is good, man. Shaman King. Let me see what you said, Watersman. It came to me as a download when I was a kid. Yep. There's plenty of kids that talk about they have an oversoul. I had a kid in my family, but they was like 2 years old. They was looking outside the window. Um, they was looking out. This is the same kid that introduced me to Shaman King, by the way. He looking outside the window talking, and he come and I'm like, who are you talking to? He was 2 years old at the time, and he was like, he said it was Yeshua. He was like, he had on purple and gold. It was explaining the royal colors of this bloodline and all types of stuff. And he was telling me what he was saying. The next day, the kid asking me about reincarnation, and we talking about like at 2, he talking about how he know that this system is Maya. Like he said, this system is fake. He didn't say the word matrix or even the word system. He was just saying, why is people getting so caught up on, at this time, he wasn't 2 years old, but he was like 4 years old at this time. And he was like, why do people do such horrific things for money? It's fake. The whole thing is fake. I was like, whoa. And so then I took a picture of this kid. And this was, he not only introduced me to Shaman King, he introduced me to the 100 too. You want to know what the hell all is going down in this matrix? The 100 really catch your ass up too. And so he put me on to that too. And that grew me, believe it or not, like 30 years. But then I took this picture of him. I want to get back to my thought. When he was like 9 years old, I took this picture of him, and he was playing with my tarot cards, and I took this picture, man, and I kicked myself, metaphorically so much because I lost the picture. But when I tell you, man, the look in that 9-year-old's eyes, it was like I was looking at a 3,000-year-old ancient shaman priest. Like I was looking, the kid is 9 years old, but the eyes, the soul, like the energy from that picture is something I would never forget. And I always knew he was a very powerful priest. A lot of the priesthood stuff run in my bloodline for aeons. But that picture like really shook me to my core. I was like, whoa, this is an old soul. It's like watching it, it's like looking at like you said, the oversoul. It's like looking at an oversoul. And so that was the picture I took of him, and I ended up losing that picture, and I was incredibly sad about that. But anyways, that's what I wanted to say. Tarot at 9. No, he was 9. I was a lot older. Uh, but the thing is, at 9, I certainly was fascinated with the tarot. I ain't gonna hold you. I tried to get tarot cards at 9 years old, and my guardian at the time said nope. She said hell no, nope. And then I had a friend whose mother was her mother was like white and Japanese, and she was a witch into the occult and stuff. And me and this girl was like, we connected, like we connected. And I would go spend a night at her house, and they had like this Ouija board. I would never ever recommend anybody to play with Ouija board, ever. And intuitively, my friend was like, let's go play with this, like let's go play with this Ouija board. And I remember saying, hell no. I just always knew it was a portal where anybody could just walk their ass on through. Now, with the tarot cards, my mind automatically I wanted them tarot cards so bad. But that Ouija board is where I drew the line. Like, I intuitively was like, nope, put it back. And she's like, you sure? I said, hell yeah, But that's interesting. Yeah, but that's all I gotta say. I'll talk to you guys later. The Brothers of Humanity. I hope you watch the replay for the stuff that you missed, because we talked. We got a little heavy. And so I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.